Good morning. Let's take a look at some of yesterday's tennis, which dominated the coupon. And we'll have a look onto today as well. Taylor Fritz doing his business. I would have taken on any Shang win here. Monfils Bautista, we did make a small profit out of this one, which could be compounded to nearly 1-to-1 return risk reward. No, it was an £8 liability, so that was excellent. Could have upped it to about £35 on Bautista Agut. My initial profit was £27, looking for Agut to win the second set. Greened that up because we had a loss on Mapesi Perikar. I took £7 out of that, backed Bautista Agut again, and that increased the bank to £35, which I was delighted with. In the singles and the qualifiers, there was a lot of upsets relative to the pre-match favouritism, so that just tells me that perhaps qualifiers are not the competition for me for tennis trading. We also got the problem of favourites being so poorly ranked, 109th in the world for this favourite. This favourite's 246th in the world. So lesson learnt, you can't trust this lot. A couple of Arthur Dailies. This one retired. It's yet another medical timeout. We saw that with Waza yesterday. Caroline Wozniacki. But what they don't tell you when they put up the medical timeout alert sometimes is who is having the medical timeout. You wouldn't have expected Wozniacki given the really good first set win. But obviously it was her because she retired. So you've got to be very, very careful with these medical timeouts. They can't be predicted, really, unless you're watching every single match and you see a little niggle here or there. This retirement, again, it just scuppers any play. It's a real pity. You don't get that chance in the third set. And there's nothing to tell me he was injured. This particular match, in hindsight, looking at the number of tiebreakers there were, I could have got out with a break even here. As I told you, in Telegram, where I had to go with the live stream facility yesterday. Hopefully you found that interesting. Those of you who came along, I might pop on now and again on Telegram, just with a quick live stream, just to update you on what's going on, why I've picked X, Y, and Z. And here, tiebreakers are pretty much like penalty kickoffs, penalty kicks. You just don't know. You know, the penalties at the end of a match, it's a lottery. Similar story with a tiebreaker. This Mapesi Perikar cannot make a mistake. And we cannot afford him to make a mistake. It's only the 1 point. And that's the difference between a break-even or a marginal gain and a loss. And I still haven't sussed out where to put a stop loss in. Maybe you need a trading stop loss for the tennis. Something where you'll catch a drop in the odds. Katie Boulter and Paolini, I was happy with my decision-making here. I did note, despite not being favourite, Paolini is a world number 7. So that could open the eyes of Katie Boulter. This is her first real test. And she was inserted as favouritism. I don't know if that was nepotism on the part of the market, because she was in, not nepotism, nationalism. She was a Brit in Eastbourne. But I'm glad I left that one alone. Kasatkina and Raducanu, again, Emma Raducanu, related to Arthur Daly and Derek and Rodney Trotter. Not very reliable old money bags. It's difficult playing tennis when you've got a couple of gold bars under your left arm for your recent sponsorship deal, he said cynically. So that was it yesterday. We'll have a look at the tennis today. Yesterday's football, just really the Norwegian Elite Serien, didn't get involved, I'm afraid. Big break in international football. How do we know these teams are up for it? Have they made any significant changes in their training to improve defensively or otherwise during this enforced break? It's a very busy day football-wise today. I do like to take a day off now and again. So that might be today. Let's have a look. Friday, 28th. So let's have a look at some of the research today. Irish Premier League Division, First Division, again, they've had an enforced break of sorts. I'm going to see if there's any angles in. The Swedish and Norwegian lower tiers stuff has just been awful so far this season. It's a real pity. Starting with the Finnish Veikkausliiga, 2.45 the favourite. That's all we need. But why are VPS not favourite? Only 2 defeats all season. Failed to score just once. All 6 goals conceded away came in the second half, so they might be vulnerable second half. That could be the reason. There's always a reason for 2.45 the favourite, despite the market firmly, or not the market, but seasonal form firmly with VPS. KPS look reliable. Famous last words, of course. Both teams have scored in the last 3 away, but they could go unbeaten. They were top of the league. I think they're now second. Against the top 8 at home, Oulu have not scored that second goal, so Oulu could be vulnerable if scoring first. Brann against Stroms. Stroms keep losing away against the top 4, so that's how I'll enter this particular match. And they are playing second in the league. Odd against Kristiansund. Expect second half goals, particularly in the last 15 minutes of matches. Total of 11 goals in the last 15 minutes of home matches for Odd. Only 2 clean sheets, so they could concede. So that suggests any Odd win is going to have to be a 2-1, isn't it? Bare minimum. Kristiansund are conceding 2 goals as well in the last 5 away, so that fits in with my theory there. Bodo Glimt, another one of our old reliables, no draw in 6 away, so we'll be looking ideally for an away win. Both teams have scored in the last 5 for Sarpsborg, but I would take on a Sarpsborg lead. Tromsø and Molde. Both teams possibly score today. Molde not strong favourite. Tromsø scoring 2+ goals regularly at home. Indeed, against the top 8, they've been scoring 2+ goals as well. So it's a difficult one to unpack, this one. 4 3-3 goals scored in the last 3 wins as well. So they've got momentum. At least it was momentum until it was spoilt by the international football. Irish First Division. The only way for Treaty to win is a 0-1. So that opens the door up to an insurance play if Treaty score first. And members of Football Trading Profits know what I'm talking about with an insurance play. Co-Bramblers against UCD. UCD's away form has me favouring them. No defeat in 9 away for University College Dublin. Second in the league, I believe. So they're really finding this lower tier to their liking. Cork against Bray. They are top of the league, Cork, I believe. 11 out of 12 goals scored away have come second half in a Bray match. 8 of those goals between the 61st and 75th minute. That could indicate their possible usage of substitutions on or around the hour mark to really make an impact. So watch out for subs in the hour mark to improve Bray. Cork, 13 of 17 goals scored at home have come in the first half. They were really quick off the block as well. 8 goals in the first quarter of an hour. So we're highly likely to see a goal before half-time in a Cork match. Kerry against Wexford. Kerry should be gettable. No draw in 11 at home for Kerry and in 7 at home. So we'd be laying any late draw here. Wexford's conceding in the 9 away. Wexford are unbeaten away against 7th and lower and have beaten 2nd and 3rd away. Might fancy it against 2nd bottom Kerry. Indeed. So it'd be favouring Wexford. Longford and Finn Harps. 2.2 the favourite fits the bill, i.e. it's not very easy to read this one. In the Premier Division, Derry against Drogs, it looks about right. Derry to score 2+ goals again, I would suggest. Only 3 wins for Drogs all season. Dundalk against Waterford, only 4 wins all season for Dundalk. We're just going to highlight the teams so you can see where the research starts for each team. 6 out of goals, 7 goals conceded at home have come in the first half for Dundalk. Waterford for a 4-1 win and a 0-0 in the head-to-heads this season. So they tend to win against 8th and lower as well, Waterford. So you'd be favouring them today. Shelbourne against Galway, 2.1 the favourite. You might see a goal-shy match. When I say goal-shy, think back 0-0 pre-match. Hopefully you get to 0-0 at half-time and then you can cash out. Sligo against Shamrock Rovers. Very strong favourites, but are a little inconsistent away from home. That could be their Achilles heel today. 0-0 and a 3-0 defeat for Sligo in the head-to-heads. So Sligo have had trouble scoring. They've even failed to score against the top 5 at home as well. So any Sligo lead is gettable here because we're not expecting Sligo to score. St Pat's against Bows, lay any late draw. Bows away form is unreadable. And us traders don't like unreadable matches. And in the Superettan, Braga. If Braga can continue not to concede that second goal at home, then Gefle are liable if leading. Gefle do 0-0s against the top six away, so 0-0 might be in play here. So you have to be a little cautious. Check the in-play stats if it's 0-0 at half-time for the potential, because Gefle pick up 0-0s against the big boys. Helsingborg against Varberg. Big gap in form for Varberg. Again, they're not played 7th to 13th away and they're playing 8th today. So how on earth are you going to gauge them against 8th when they haven't played teams around them this season? That gap in form, it means it will be unlikely for me to be targeting that as a tradable match. Looking at today's tennis, and we're a little bit too near to Wimbledon, so you've got to be very wary here. These players don't want to be picking up injuries, but they've got a familiar name in Taylor. 2 tiebreaker wins yesterday, so he's up for the battle. Gael Monfils getting through against Bautista Agut. This could be a 3-setter. I think Monfils is liable if he wins the first set. Again, he's playing a player better ranked than him, with a pedigree, at least on clay, because he's from Costa Rica, but this is grass. Elsewhere, familiar names for me to potentially pick out. Madison Keys, with her beautiful sparkly teeth like Jurgen Klopp's. Daria Kasatkina and Paulini. I like Daria Kasatkina. The rankings, Paulini we saw yesterday beating Katie Bolter, so she's in a bit of good nick. This could be a 3-setter, so this would be a fascinating match to watch or to try to unpack. And that's it really today. As you can tell, it's going to get very quiet because Wimbledon is on Monday. So it's likely to be a quietish day for me, tennis-wise. It's just the conclusions of the pre-Wimbledon grass court events. So interesting to watch. I wonder if we get any medical timeouts or possible retirements. Monday is the start of Wimbledon. And I don't think they have the coupon up yet, because there's still, well, I think the qualifiers have finished. So we don't have the Wimbledon coupon up just yet. So it is my day off today. I'm certainly not going to be up for the Irish football at 7:45, which is 1:45 a.m. my time. I'm not going to be doing that on my day off. But I will be following the tennis for you during the day. And in my live stream yesterday on Telegram, I just said, just be a little patient, football-wise. July is round the corner. When July is round the corner, August is round the corner. And with it comes an avalanche of football. You won't know what to do between August and April. So take this, if you're new to trading, take these months of April to August as a foundation for you to practice some strategies on some lower tier leagues. I'll be around for the afternoon matches and probably the 6 o'clocks. So I'll get a good set of these covered for you. Tennis-wise, it's going to get very, very quiet. We're entering into the final rounds as well, which means there's no weak links, are there? If they're getting this deep into the competition, I think it's the semi-final stage. So Vukic, for example, is going to give Taylor Fritz something to think about, though not so on rankings. This guy, very reliable for me, old Taylor, tends to come out if he's cocked up the first set, tends to fight it. Do read these previews as well. They might give you an update on any potential injury concerns or recent patterns. Rather than you doing all the work, the preview's done all the work for you. I wonder if it has a hot stat like it does with the football. Indeed, head-to-head. So do read these, please. They'll give you a little indicator of who this lot fancies as well. Narrow victory, so that could mean tiebreaker territory. Looking at Purcell against Harris, I wouldn't have a clue here, although I would suggest when your favourite's 94th and when your favourite has a mullet, he could be gettable if he wins the first set. Surprised he's not an Australian citizen, old Purcell, mate. Is he an Aussie? Yeah, of course he's a Aussie, mate. He's got a fucking... Look at that. Struth, mate. Where's me mullet? Ah, Struth. So I don't know if there'll be any talk about his mullet in this particular research. Inconsistency and challenging 2024 season. He's too highly ranked to be trusted as a favourite. Harris is a Brit in England. He's going to have the home support. So this could be an upset, or Purcell could be gettable if leading. Could be a final for Harris as well. So I would discount the market, I think, particularly in semi-final stages. It could be far too tight, a bit like this. Very tight indeed. But I would be looking to take on a Gael Monfils first set win, I think. So I might see you throughout the day. Please do remember, I do like to have a day off on a Friday because ordinarily, particularly August to April, I work Saturday and Sunday. When I say work Saturday and Sunday, I'm there from 12 o'clock to about 7, 8, 9 p.m. for you on a Saturday and Sunday. That's why Fridays and Mondays have tended to become days off. Monday in particular, because the coupon is historically awful, even during an August to April full season. Have a great day. And if I'm up and about on Telegram, I'll certainly make you aware of it. Tricky day today, football-wise, tennis-wise, because they're all semi-final matches. But I've got some familiar names that I like and some angles pre-match and some favoured players pre-match as well. 30th against 12th. Again, she's near to the world top 10, but this ranking difference is not that big. Obviously, this Fernandez is a bit handy. But do please read these previews. They're completely free and they've done all the heavy lifting for you. If you want to do research yourself on the tennis, first starting point, matchstat.com is an excellent starting point. In today's e-letter, I'll be looking at how to approach the Grand Slams. So do make sure you can read that. So this has really improved at this MatchStat website. Go to the tennis, of course, and you can have a look at Harris v Vukic head-to-head prediction. There's no harm in seeing what they say. And this is interesting. Go very much in depth, don't they? Second serve performance, recent form. This is the kind of stats that a website like tennisprofits.com tells you to use. But for me, this is going a little bit too in depth. When all I'm interested in is for him to lose a set, for him to win it back, and for me to make profit. That's all I'm interested in. So matchstat.com, tennisexplorer.com as well, and of course, Tennis24. So you can have a look at Tennis Explorer. This will give you an injury list, but so will this if you click on a player's name. And thank you to Paul Dunwoody for pointing this out. You click on Old Mullet's name, you'll get he'll probably get his hairdresser in here somewhere. Hairdresser, I think, has been banned by the ATP. But you'll have the injury list at the base if there has been an injury. It looks as if Old Mullet, with his budgie smugglers, is okay. He's not been injured recently. So that gives you a quick look at the injury list, as does this. Injured players here. You see Caroline Wozniacki from yesterday. Damir Zumir from yesterday as well. Might give you an idea of how they got injured or what their injury is. Because this is near to Wimbledon now. It doesn't tell you, it just tells you retired. But do bear this in mind. Any of this lot playing recently or playing in Wimbledon, coming into Wimbledon, I don't know what the concern was. It just says retirement. But this is a great website, tennisexplorer.com. There is some tennis software out there, but I think it might be taken off the market where you can dig deep. But I'll do more. I did look into that for my... I was going to write a tennis manual. But there is plenty of other websites out there. But that's something I think for another video, or indeed for a chat here for you. So I don't know off the top of my head, but there's plenty of other tennis websites out there. But you've got the main ones: Matchstat, Tennis Explorer, Tennis24, of course, which is a wonderful site, completely free as well, and does the research for you. It's just brilliant. So you can't ask for more. Have a great day today. Hopefully I'll see you around for some of the tennis. Although please remember, these are semi-final matches and there's no weak link, despite what the market might say.